Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I am Lisa English. I am the Pandemic Relief Coordinator. And with me today is Alexandra McCann, and she's our Financial Specialist Principal. We are also very excited to introduce Erin Kennedy. Oops, there we go. Who is our new ESSER Data Coordinator. We are very excited to have Erin joining our team. So I hope when you get a chance, you'll all welcome Erin to the ESSER family. Now, I think this just about sums up how we are all feeling right now. Everything's great. As always, we need to remember that ESSER funds are used to prevent, prepare for, or respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. And that includes needs arising from or exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, and to address pre-existing challenges that, if left unaddressed, will impede recovery from the pandemic. So now to why we are here. Completing the annual data collection report. We know that this is a heavy lift, but we are here to support you, and we won't leave you to do it on your own. The year one data report was completed and submitted in February of 2021. That report consisted of data from the CARES ESSER 1. The year two data report, which is the report we are currently working on, will consist of data from CARES ESSER 1, SRSA ESSER 2, and minimal information from ARP ESSER 3, which we will go over a little later. So let's look at the data collection timeline. If any of you were at the March 2nd IASBO training at the Riverside Hotel in Boise, this may look a little bit different. The survey will be released to LEAs today at 11 Mountain Time. LEAs will have today through May 30th to enter all the data into the survey tool and submit it to the SDE no later than May 30th. Please know that the link will close on May 31st. The SDE will then compile the data, conduct a quality control check, and submit all data to USAID on July 1. Before getting started, I wanted to share some quick information with all of you. Please make sure when you are going through the survey to read all the questions carefully. Verify, are the questions asking you for dollar amounts or staff counts or percentages on how you will be using remaining funds? We just want to make sure that the correct information gets input into the survey. It is very important that you know that in the survey, it refers to the current time period, which is actually referring to the data collection period of October 1, 2020 through June 30, 2021. USAID is seeking information for the time period that has already passed. We have made sure to place the October 20 through June 21 time period as much as we could throughout the survey as a reminder. So emails with the survey links will be sent out at 11 o'clock Mountain Time today, which will be after this webinar. Will be sent to the business manager, the superintendent, Title 1A coordinator, and charter administrator as listed in the IDCI. However, please make sure that there's only one person designated to fill out and submit the survey. Duplicate survey submittals will not come through the system. Also, make sure you read the definitions provided at the top of the USAID data collection form that was provided to LEAs on April 12th. Some of these definitions include full service community schools, planned uses of funds, the definition of expended, and evidence-based. We will also have some definitions later in this webinar. Finally, please note that the survey will save your progress as you work through the data. You will be able to leave and return through the survey link that will be emailed to you today until the survey is submitted. There is a warning page before you submit the survey. If you accidentally submit the survey prior to the survey being complete, you will not be able to go back in through the link. You will need to get an additional data link from me to go back in and complete the remaining data. So the performance report survey consists of 5 sections: CARES Act, or ESSER 1, the SRSA Act, ESSER 2, ARP ESSER, or ESSER 3, which thankfully only has very few questions. CROSS Act, which will ask about such information as demographics and how LEAs used ESSER funds to support disproportionately impacted student groups. And finally, school staffing, which excitedly only contains 1 question. So in the ESSER 1 and ESSER 2 sections, we have pre-filled some of the requested information for ELAs based on our data to try and make it easier for you. All pre-filled amounts, allocations, and expenditures were extracted from the GRA for the respective prior data collection reporting period of March 13th, 2020 through September 30th, 2020, and the current data collection reporting period of October 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. The CARES ESSER and SRSA ESSER 2 sections will actually look very similar in their questions. Again, information such as total amounts awarded, amounts expended from October 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, and remaining amounts as of 7/1/2021 will be pre-filled for you. This is an example of how some of the questions will look in these sections. They will ask about total dollar amounts expended in the above categories, such as physical health and safety, and meeting students' academic, social, and emotional needs. And then they ask you to break down the total amounts into categories, such as salaries, benefits, purchase services, and supplies. Like ESSER 1 and 2, ESSER 3 will have pre-filled data as well. The good news is that the ARP ESSER 3 funds were not awarded till June 30th, 2021, which is at the end of the current data reporting period. So we have pre-filled the amounts awarded to the LEAs. So you won't have any expended questions being asked. However, there are questions regarding to how you planned at the time to use these funds. All we can say at this point is to use your best judgment when answering these questions. In the CROSS-ACT section, we have pre-filled for you 4 questions. They are regarding the number of FTEs reported on certain dates. We use the staffing data submitted to the SDE through the IC upload. We reported all position types, administration, instructional, pupil service, and classified as a complete total. Also in this section, there are questions regarding demographic subgroups and how LEAs used ESSER funds to support student groups who were disproportionately impacted by COVID. The categories referenced in this section are listed above and include summer learning programs, after-school programs, and extended instructional time. And we will offer definitions of these groups in a few slides. The final question of the survey, and the only one in the staffing, school staffing section, has to do with FTE counts in the above categories, such as special educators, including paraprofessionals, bilingual or ESL educators, counselors, social workers, or psychologists, and nurses. It is very important that LEAs make this report a high priority as US Ed is enforcing these ESSER reporting requirements. Their expectations are that 98% of LEAs will submit to the SEA, and that 98% of the ESSER funds awarded to Idaho will be accounted for in the submission, and that includes what you submit to us. If US Ed requirements are not met, they will not accept our state submission. If our submission is not accepted due to non-compliance, US Ed could initiate actions to withhold, suspend, or terminate our state's remaining ESSER funds. So we do need, I know we have a lot going on in our schools, but we do need to make this a priority to make sure that we get to keep and maintain our current ESSER funds. We have not received any official frequently asked questions from US Ed, so we are making our own from the questions we have received from you. We have already received questions from you, and we will briefly share some of those in the next few slides. We have also received some additional definitions that we will be sharing, and we will be posting under the Pandemic Relief Funds section on the federal program's website in the next few days. So this question, how is educational technology defined? What is included? Does it need to be directly used by students? And does it include hardware and software? And in the context of the question asked on the survey, it asks, was educational technology purchased for all students? So in this case, they are referring to hardware and software purchased for the use of students. Another question we received is, what is a short-term contractor? Short answer is an individual providing services who is not employed by the LEA. Some districts contracted with additional IT help due to the need of increased bandwidth and systems as we went to virtual learning. And some districts contracted with counselors to come and meet with students having social or emotional difficulties during the pandemic. There were some questions regarding MO equity or maintenance of equity on the survey questions that we sent out previously. Please note that these questions will be answered by the SDE, and you will not need to answer these, as you'll see on the survey. Another question is, when identifying subgroups, can we agree on an IC submission date for that data? And we say to use the end of year 2021 upload data for this information, as it mostly overlaps with the reporting period of October 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. This next question asks, would an Asian and Black student only contribute to the number of multiracial students and not to the number of Asian or Black students? And the answer is yes. However, a multiracial white, Asian, or Native American student may also be categorized as low income, disabled, or homeless. So if they're multiracial, I would click the multiracial selection. This next question asks, when I am looking at students who specifically benefited from hiring additional paraprofessionals, should I list all students in my calculations. And it really depends on what the question is asking for. If it is asking for a total student count that it benefited, then yes, you will include all students. If it is specifically asking for subgroup information, you will need to refer to your demographic data. Now we'll go over briefly some of these definitions, but again, we'll make sure that they are posted on our Pandemic Relief Funds page. So we'll just briefly go over some of these. And extended instructional time refers to using a longer day, week, or school year to significantly increase school hours to include additional time for instruction in core academic subjects and other subjects that contribute to a well-rounded education. Social emotional learning is support conducted by a non-licensed professional or mental health services conducted by licensed practitioners. Evidence-based summer learning or enrichment refers to programs that support accelerated learning in the core curriculum during the summer months. Evidence-based high dosage tutoring is voluntary tutoring aligned with evidence-based core curriculum led by highly trained tutors or certified teachers. Early childhood education program expansion or enhancement. And this is programs that expand opportunities for all students to attend high quality early childhood education programs or the improvement of existing programs. This one gets asked a couple of times. Full capacity is the maximum number of students a program could serve as determined by the LEA. And this next one is going to be kind of important. So when it asks to define expenditure, we have been given direction by US Ed, and an expenditure is incurred by the LEA when the SEA makes a reimbursement for that expenditure with specific funds. The date of the reimbursement determines the appropriate reporting period. So for example, an LEA pays for an ESSER eligible good or service on June 20th, 2021, submits the expenditure to the SEA for reimbursement on July 1, 2021, and the LEA receives the reimbursement from the SEA on July 10th, 2021. This expenditure was not reimbursed until July 10th, 2021, so it will not be included in the data reporting period of October 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, because it was not reimbursed until July 10th. This expenditure will be included in the next data collection period of July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. Now, we know that you have been given a lot of information this morning. We also know that you have more questions. You'll have more questions as you get into the survey. Please know that we have tried to make things as easy as possible for you. We don't know the amount of time the survey will take. Factors such as not having any remaining ESSER 1 funds as of July 1, 2021, not having received ESSER 3 funds will cut down on questions that you will need to answer. We encourage you to get into the survey before you begin and start looking at the questions. We are here to provide support for you. Email us, call us. We will also be hosting another webinar next week on April 27th. We will be emailing that webinar link out. We will use this time to answer any questions or concerns you may be having. Use the frequently asked questions and definition documents we will be posting on our Pandemic Relief Fund section of our website, along with this PowerPoint and webinar recording. As always, here is our Pandemic Relief Funds page on our federal programs section of our website. We will have a section on this page committed to the ARP data collection. So all documents will be under that heading. A reminder that now more than ever, with the influx of ESSER monies, there is a spotlight on fraud prevention. If you know of or suspect fraud, waste, abuse, mismanagement, or violations of laws and regulations involving the U.S. Department of Education funds, notify the Office of Inspector General immediately at the link on the slide. Now, that is what we have for today. Alex, we are open to questions if you have received any that you would like to address with everyone.
So I think the burning question is there a preview or print function of for the survey where folks can print off the entire survey and maybe fill it out on paper and then later on input it into the online survey. And as I said in the question in the chat box, we're looking into how that feature would work, and we will get back to you. Now, keep in mind, these surveys are customized. So we don't necessarily just want to, print something out and then share it with everyone, because at that point you would get other folks' information. Someone asked for a link to the pandemic relief funds page. So I put that in the chat box. A question about whether there are any backup documents required. No backup, just filling out the fields. Clearly, it would behoove you if you keep the documentation that you use to fill this out, because this is not the end of it. There will be another data collection next year and then the year after. So it certainly would be helpful to have some of that resource going forward. Question about the definitions. Yes, we will be putting all of that into a Q&A definitions resource document that will be posted on the website.
All good questions. Any more?
Okay, there's one more, just a sec. Question about when they get the survey, where is the survey link for us to access? So here in about half an hour or so, you will get an email with a link to the survey. It's customized specifically for your school district, for your LEA, and it will go to a number of people. And we pull that contact information from the ICDI directory. And I will say that depending on the roles and how many people were set up in the directory, some of you may get an email sent to 2 or 3 folks in your district. So make sure that you get a link, that you get a copy of the survey. Question about the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint has not been posted yet. We are working on that. We need to make all of this accessible, and then we will get it on the website. It will be on the Pandemic Relief Fund websites. And I think we're going to send that out as a follow-up in an email as well.
Any more?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Just a reminder, we will be posting these questions and answers along with the definitions, the PowerPoint, and the webinar on our Pandemic Relief Funds page.
So someone commented on the attachment that Lisa sent out when she invited us. to the meeting. It's not the question. So Lisa, if you could elaborate on that, I'm not sure.
It was the information that we received from the US Ed with all of the proposed questions on it. We will send it out again and post it to our pandemic relief site. And we will put those definitions on our website as well. And don't forget, we will be hosting another webinar next week. If you're having difficulties, if you want to see what everyone else is doing. So we will be sending that link out along with some of these documents today or tomorrow.
All right, it looks like we're not getting any more questions at this moment. If you
Okay.
do have questions later on, once you have a chance to look at the survey, feel free to send us an email.
Thank you all for joining us. Hopefully it won't be as bad as we all thought it would be. And keep in mind this survey, as we assume it'll be very likely that this is what it will entail for next period as well. So get in there, look around, find out what questions you have. Again, as long as you don't submit the survey, you can get in and out using the link that will come in the email. Let us know what questions you have and we'll support you as best as we can. Okay. Alex, we're good?
We're good.